It's early October of 2022, and I felt inclined to just make a video. I don't have a total plan for this, but I'm in a mood to be more expressive. And I've been thinking about, just about a year ago, I was finishing the album that I'm about to release. October 28th, it's coming out, pre-done. And that's great and all, but I'm not going to get into the music stuff. I want to talk more about the fact that at the time, I didn't have a job. I was eating out of savings. And I would worry about money because it was dwindling at the time. But I was also, I had the bliss of being free. I was in the flow state of making that music and putting together that album. It was about 2 months of time that I really focused on that whole project end to end. And I would take older songs I already made and make new ones, all that, but it was just like a 2-month window of really putting it together. And at the time, most days, I would wake up at noon, stay up till 4. I had my car working, or I had a car at that point, and it was bliss because it would be flow state all day. Sometimes you barely eat, and sure, you don't want to always be doing that, but I was so motivated every day. I would 2 in the morning, go to a different neighborhood and take walks and listen to my mix back until I get a better perspective when I'm not at the mixing board. And I was just so inspired, and I was jumping into what I wanted to express, the aesthetics I wanted to come through, and just beyond that, it was a season in life where I was tapped into my soul. I was more in tune with what I value artistically, and you reminisce more at that time, and you're just in this greater state of beauty and freeness. And then, by the time I finished that album, winter was coming, and I needed money, and I got a job. I needed to find just work. I haven't been one to be on some career path through school. I could get into that where I just never found something I wanted to dial in my focus for, and I've always wanted to be making music. I've always wanted to reach a different level of freedom from just true expression from the soul. Whatever can come through my mortal vessel from the experiences I've learned and the struggles I've been through, and in hopes that there's something greater than me that can come through that can be of benefit and may carry something eternal. I think that's sort of what we're all looking for in a sense. And I never felt that when I would go through school or through jobs. It feels like it's just going chasing the dollar. And that's not true for everyone. I know that there are people that are pursuing amazing degrees and learning about something that's truly their passion in life. So I'm not knocking school per se. But it wasn't something I found a shoe-in. And so I had to get a job come winter of last year, and I just found a job at a movie theater that serves food. I'd work full-time, 8-hour days. You'd be up till 11:30 is when you're cleaning out the deep fryer, because it was mostly just making deep fried dishes, and you're just there for hours. And I wasn't happy there. And for one, I think that was a bad job. That was a rough experience. It was a little over minimum wage, but it was just the same kind of thing over and over. Some good people, but I worked a number of other jobs throughout this past year, and I'm kind of just looking back on what this year was. And what this past year was being in positions, in occupations I really didn't want to be in, and putting myself in really positions where I was really suffering. And even when the jobs weren't hard and difficult and stressful, even the moments where it would be hunky-dory, there was that gnawing sensation of, this is not at all what I want. Because the only reason I'd be there was to make money. And I didn't have the most clear picture of what I do for making money. Of course, being where I am now, if I had more money and I could at least get independent and have my own place and have a working vehicle again and all that, that'd be great. But ultimately what I want to do is create and express and find a way to where I'm free, right? And working at those jobs, you know, you'd be, and this is something I think we've all experienced, not this specific example, but where I was working, cleaning out that deep fryer at the middle of the night, and you feel that energy is sucked out of you. It's as if there's like, it's coming out of your spine, and that energy is your vitality. It's not only your just day-to-day chi to get things done and you know, keep you awake. It's also that, like, your personality and your pursuits and values and higher goals and desires and passion is sort of being stripped slowly. So I have a lot of compassion for people who are in jobs that they don't like. Like, I've been there, and that's what this whole past year was like, being in situations where, you know, after I quit that job, after like 3 or 4 months, I worked a really brief position hosting a huge restaurant, way understaffed, incredibly stressful, incredibly busy. I had to get the fuck out. Excuse my language. But, and then I thought I had a really good offer at a hotel, and that was like the worst of all 3 of these jobs. And I stayed there the longest. I stayed there 6 months, and I would wake up at 4:30, and I wouldn't always eat enough, and I'd be so stressed. And there were these, like, I felt abused. I felt like I had a coworker and a supervisor that were like actually like insulting, and it wasn't personalized. I noticed that they did this to other people, and I'm not trying to be like I'm exposing an insulting supervisor, an abusive person. No, it's like there's people that I don't resonate with, that I think have those kind of traits that are unhealthy, and to some degree it was my own fault, because I'm a very sensitive person, and I would get into those like phantom arguments in my own head where I'd stir myself up in those emotions. But ultimately I wasn't happy.